Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's time for our next tier list. We have covered so many different tribes lately. We went over like Murlocs, Mechs, Dragons, Beasts, Elementals, and I'm ready to call it quits and knock off the last two tribes in one video, mainly because there's not a lot in these two tribes and it's easy to kind of combine them, make it one nice little video. Let me know in the comments below what kind of tier list should we do next. Basically, we've knocked off all the tribes, we've done hero powers, we've done all sorts of stuff. Let me know in the comments below what ideas you have. I have some of my own, might end up going with that, but maybe you guys can persuade me one way or the other. And again, we do these tier lists every single weekend, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do get those notifications going so you can be updated every single time there's a new tier list video. As well, of course, we have daily Hearthstone standard and wild content throughout the whole week, and we're closing in on 7,000 subs, so I keep pushing hard, I keep pitching, but if you guys can sub, that would be amazing and help the channel a lot. Anyways, enough of the selling, enough of that. Let's go over the tier list. Let's evaluate every single pirate and totem from S to F tier, S being a god tier, amazing pirate or totem, and F being complete garbage that why would you ever put that in your deck. So let's get started. First, we have Black Water Pirate. It's a 4-mana 2/5 neutral pirate that makes your weapon cost 2 less. I've literally never seen this in a deck. Cheating out weapons has literally never been a thing, and I don't know if it ever will be, and so this is just a massive fail of a pirate. Why would you ever play that card? Unbelievable garbage. And you feel bad when you get it randomly in wild. Like, trash, trash. Can you believe that was made? Next, we have Bloodsail Corsair. It's a 1-mana 1/2 pirate. Battle Cry, remove 1 durability from your opponent's weapon. This card never really saw much play until Patches was made, and then decks that didn't really have like weapon synergy cards basically threw this in there, like Token Druid. Just put in Bloodsail Corsair to summon Patches and buff it. It seemed a tiny bit of play when like weapons are prominent, but basically you want to run like Acidic Swamp Ooze instead, Harrison. But yeah, overall, pretty good in basically those token decks, and those token decks alone. So I'm going to give it a B. Definitely seen play, but never really been like a big meta player. Next, we have Bloodsail Cultist, the 3-mana 3/4 pirate for warrior. And Battle Cry, if you control another pirate, give your weapon +1/+1. This has been a staple in Pirate Warrior ever since this card was made. And this card was made before Patches, and this card saw play before Patches was made. And it did very well in Pirate Warrior. Pirate Warrior wasn't like a tier 1 deck, but it was solid, especially in like Old Gods. It was definitely solid when this card was introduced, and is a big part of it. I'm actually going to give this an S tier. This pirate is insane in Warrior. Incredibly powerful, and basically is in every single aggressive Warrior deck you're ever going to play in Wild. Like, it's just so freaking good. Next, we have a Rogue Pirate, Bloodsail Flybooter. It's a 1-mana 1/1 pirate in Battle Cry. Add 2 1/1 pirates to your hand. This card I thought would be like a staple in every single Rogue deck. It's a 1-drop that generates more tokens and activates combos and all that, and yeah, it just turns out 1/1s aren't really that great. They're not really enough, and like I think it's sometimes thrown into as like a 1-of in Highlander Rogue, but even like Galakrond Rogue, the aggressive Rogue decks don't run it. You only somewhat see it in Wild, because in Wild you have Ship's Cannon, where this card is very good with that. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a B, but I thought for sure this would be like an S tier or an A tier pirate when it was introduced. Kind of interesting to see how it didn't really pan out. Next, we have another Rogue Pirate, Bloodsail Howler. It's a 2-mana 1/1, and it Battle Cry. It gains +1/+1 for each other pirate you control, and it has Rush already. Literally, I've never seen this card unless it's been created from like a random pirate generator, and then it's pretty good. Like, you get it there, you get like a 2-mana 7/7. Wow, that's incredible. But to build your deck around it, to ever put it in your deck, is just suicide. It's an F. Unbelievably bad. Just, I've never seen it viable in a ladder deck ever. Next, we have Bloodsail Raider, neutral pirate, 2-mana 2/3, Battle Cry. It gains basically the attack of your weapon, and it'll add it to him. So you got like Arcanite Reaper, you got a 2-mana 7/3. It's been in a lot of Pirate Warrior decks, basically, Pirate Warrior, because you know you had Arcanite Reaper, Deathspite, all of that. And still sees play there. It's a very solid pirate, but that's basically the only deck it really consistently pops up in. And I don't know if that's enough to give it an A, or yeah, I just don't. So I'm going to give it a B. It's kind of that Bloodsail Corsair range where it's very good, it's very solid, but not really that A tier pirate. Next, we have Buccaneer. It's a 1-mana 2/1 pirate for Rogue, and whenever you equip a weapon, give it +1 attack. This is a staple in Odd Rogue, Kingsbane Rogue. Almost any weapon-based deck in Rogue wants to run it. It's basically almost a premium stat of 1-drop with the tribe, with an insane effect. It's just a staple in too many Rogue decks. I'm going to give it an S. Absolute crazy good pirate. And yeah, when's the last time a Rogue deck in WoW didn't run it? Like, you're just going to run that card. It's insane. Unless you're playing, like, Big Rogue or something. It's just too good. Next, we have Captain Greenskin, the classic legendary pirate. He is a 5-mana 5/4 and Battlecry, give your weapon +1/+1. Well, in Standard right now, he still sees play in Bomb Warrior. And in Wild, it's a staple in, like, every weapon deck, whether it be Pirate Warrior, Kingsbane Rogue, anything like that. Extremely powerful card, but not enough for me to give it an S. I don't feel it's at that level. Like, these cards feel like you just win them when you play it on curve. Greenskin's more of, like, a good, good card to throw in, a good little bomb, but it's more just kind of value. Like, it's not quite that game-winning early play you can make, and I don't feel it solidifies the mid-game enough to give it that S tier rating, but obviously a very good card, and I'm definitely going to give it an A. Next, we have Captain Hooktusk. This is a Rogue Pirate Legendary. It's an 8-mana 6/3, and Battlecry, it summons 3 pirates from your deck, and you give them Rush. It saw a little bit of play early on in Standard. There's Pirate Rogue and all that. You cheated out, things like that, but overall, that deck was never, like, incredible tier 1. It was like a tier 2, tier 3 deck, and it fell off really quickly. It got power creeped out of the game, and basically Hooktusk has never really been seen since. It's a very powerful card. It does a good thing, but Rogue just typically doesn't like doing 8-mana things. Like, the most expensive thing it likes to do is, like, Highlander Rogue stuff and, like, getting a Dragon Queen or, like, Tiamat, something like that. And typically they want to cheat that out for, like, 0 mana or 1 mana now with the nerf to Galakrond. So I'll give it a low B. It saw some play, was a good card, just never really quite got there in terms of top tier viability. Next we have Cursed Castaway. It's a 6-mana 5/3 pirate for Rogue, Rush, and Death Rattle. Draw a combo card from your deck. So this kind of went into the Hooktusk package, and that's about it. And that, again, that deck wasn't that great, and this was a bad part of it. Like, this is kind of like a card you threw in there to try and make that work a little bit. So I'm going to give it a C. Never really saw much viable constructive play, but it was okay, not complete garbage. And now we have another Rogue Pirate, Cutthroat Buccaneer. It's a 3-mana 2/4 pirate, and combo, give your weapon +1 attack. It saw play in Standard and Kingsbane Rogue when the weapon buffs weren't that great there, especially before, like, the Leeching Poison nerf happened. In Standard, in Wild, this never really saw the cut. You just had better options, and it doesn't see play there whatsoever now. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a C. It's kind of like that Cursed Getaway thing. It was like a card that you kind of run to make something work, but it wasn't really good enough on its own. Next, we have Dread Corsair. It's a 4-mana 3/3 taunt, and it costs 1 less for each attack on your weapon. So this guy's been a staple in Pirate Warrior, basically any raiding party deck in Rogue, where you draw your weapon, like whether it be Wagglepick, Kingsbane, and all that, and you draw this guy to go with it, you play the weapon, and you get to play him for free. And he's even sees play in, like, Evolve decks in Standard. You have a new Evolve weapon, you can play the Dread Corsair for 0 and evolve him, and that's very powerful. It's just been a staple in a lot of different pirate decks. I'm not quite the S tier pirate, but definitely a solid A. Very strong and very good. Hey, we got some totems. Let's take a look at a couple of totems here. We're going to sprinkle them in since there's not a lot of them. But we have Evil Totem. It's a Shaman Totem. 2-mana 0/2. And at the end of your turn, you add a random lackey to your hand. So you can get, random dragon, 2-drop, taunt, damage. You know the deal. Solid value. Saw play in Quest Shaman in Standard. Sees play in some Totem Shaman. I mean, Shaman's just really bad in Standard. Even after this new set, it's still missing in action. You don't really see Shaman. And in Wild, it's like a staple in Even Shaman. Very good card there. I'm going to give it an A. It's just, lackeys are busted, and it's a good totem you can buff. And it sees consistent play despite how bad Shaman is. Next, we have Flame Tongue Totem. It's a Shaman Totem. It's a 3-mana 0/3. Your adjacent minions get +2 attack. This used to be like an S tier, God tier totem. Like, this was the nuts. It was so good in Shaman. And then they nerfed it up to 3. It was like too good in Even Shaman. And they nerfed it, and now, well, Even's not a thing in Standard, but it'd be insane in Wild, of course. But yeah, now, just pretty much unplayable. Even like the Totem Shaman stuff, it's so fragile. Like, honestly, it's a card that could consider reverting, or at least, I don't know, give it some extra health for 3, because 3 mana, it's just brutal. So I'm actually going to give it a C. It's borderline F, but it's pretty sad to see how far Flame Tongue has fallen. Next we have Hedgeclan Burglar. It's a 4-mana 4/3 rogue pirate battle cry. Discover a spell from another class, and this can be literally anything. And yeah, you don't really see rogue run this much these days. You see it from warriors. They randomly discover it off their pirate stuff. But yeah, it saw a little bit play on like Quest Rogue and just some like value rogues, even some like Highlander Rogue. But overall, it doesn't see a ton of play. You don't typically put this card in your deck, but it's not particularly bad. I want to kind of give it that low B, just because it has seen play in some decks. It's not a bad card. It's really good value, but overall, it just doesn't quite get there. Next, we have Horde Pillager. It's a 4-mana 4/2 neutral pirate. Battle Cry, equip one of your destroyed weapons. So if you had a weapon break, you play this, you get it back. Very popular in Bomb Warrior at the moment because, well, you don't really want to insta-lose to an ooze, so a lot of people run Horde Pillager just to get it back, or just for more bombs, and that's typically where you see it. I've seen it in Wild, in Pirate Warrior. Some people really want to get their Ankar back and draw their deck, but other than that, not so much. So I'm going to give it a B. It's a middle-of-the-road pirate, kind of serves that tech purpose, definitely sees some play, and I think we have a similar thing here. We have Kobold Sticky Finger. It's a 5-mana 4/4 pirate, battle cry, steal your opponent's weapon. So basically, this is perfect in Wild right now because Kingsbane Rogue is very popular, so you yoink it. But other than that, you don't typically run this card. I have seen it, people tech it in Standard when Bomb Warrior is very popular to try and tech against it. But for the same reason as Horde Pillager, I kind of got to put it in that middle-of-the-road tech option. Not bad, not great, but you're never really going to build your deck around it. Next, we have another rogue pirate, Lucky Buccaneer. It's a 6-mana 5/5. And Battle Cry, if your weapon has at least 3 attack, gain +4/+4. So effectively, it's a 6-mana 9/9, but incredibly slow. Hell, it could die to Galaka Crawler, which would have been hilarious to see, but I don't think I ever really saw that. I've seen the card pop up, randomly generated in Warrior, but other than that, never really a competitive card. Rogue just doesn't really care about stuff like this, and it never saw play. I'm actually going to give it an F, just because what weapon rogue are you ever going to play this deck in? Like, that's just not what it wants to do. Next, we have Naga Corsair, 4-mana 5/4 neutral pirate. Battle Cry, give your weapon +1 attack, so similar to Cutthroat Buccaneer, but neutral, better statted, and just kind of better in almost every way. So yeah, we'll give it a B. It's not playing like Kingsbane Rogue stuff for the most part, a little bit in Pirate Warrior. Solid card, premium stats, bonus effect, all that stuff, very good, but not quite that like A-tier level pirate. Next, we have the Warrior Pirate, N'Zoth's First Mate. It's a 1-mana 1/1 Battle Cry. Give yourself a 1/3 Rusty Hook, and also summon patches, typically. Insanely good card. It's been a staple in Warrior ever since it's been made. It's in Pirate Warrior. Hell, it was in like mid-range decks, like Dragon Warrior ran this well before patches was a thing. Insanely good. I mean, if Bloodsail Cultist is an S-tier pirate, so is N'Zoth's First Mate. Unbelievably powerful, and I'd never see it not seeing play in Pirate Warrior, unless they make the most insane 1-drops ever to replace it. It's so unbelievably good. Next, we have another rogue pirate, One-Eyed Cheat. It's a 2-mana 4/1. Whenever you summon a pirate, gain stealth. Yeah, this is really bad. It's super fragile. You have to play another pirate to give it stealth, and when this was made, this was back in GVG when there was no real cheap pirates. This card was unbelievably bad. Like, horrendous, and still bad today. Like, you're not putting this in Kingsbane Rogue. You're not putting this in any deck. It's an F. Unbelievably bad. I'm insulted. Next, we have Parachute Brigand. It's a 2-mana 2/2 pirate, and whenever you play a pirate, summon this from your hand. So it's a free 2/2 whenever you play a pirate. Very strong. Staple in, like, Pirate Warrior. I see it pop up here and there, like Kingsbane Rogue and stuff like that. If Odd Rogue could run it, they would. But for that reason, I'm going to give it an A. I mean, you cheat it out. It's in Standard Pirate Warrior as well. It's just a very good card. You get to cheat mana and develop a pirate, which is tribal synergy with the rest of your deck. Very good. Solid. Next, we have Patches the Pirate. He's a legendary neutral pirate. He's a 1-mana 1/1, and whenever you play a pirate, summon him from your deck. So if you've drawn him, it feels bad, but if you just play any other time a pirate, you get him for free. And that's incredibly good. He used to have charge, and when he had charge, he was an absolute S-tier pirate. Undisputed S-tier pirate. And now he doesn't have charge, and he's an undisputed S-tier pirate. Still unbelievably ridiculously good. Still sees play in every single pirate deck in Wild, because why wouldn't you? Any token deck loves to run it. It's just ridiculously good, because it's a free 1/1. And it thins your deck, and you can have tribal synergy with it. To think that it actually had charge, and took that long to get nerfed, and it's still S tier in a degenerate format like WoW. It tells you how powerful that card was for a very long time. Next, we have Phantom Freebooter. It's a 4-mana 3/3 pirate. Battle Cry gains stats equal to your weapons. So, saw a little bit of this in like some Pirate Warrior decks because, you know, it's some free stats, but overall, just not really worth it. Like, a stat drop is not that great, and, you know, it's good if you just get, like, you know, just 2/2 on it. It's a 4-mana 5/5, and that's great, but it just never really made the cut. It saw some play. Don't get me wrong, it's not an F tier pirate, but it's not that they're the level the other guys have been going over. Next, we have Mana Tide Totem. It's a shaman totem. It's a 3-mana 0/3. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Staple in a ton of decks, whether it be a combo deck that just wants to draw, be totem shaman, odd shaman. You know, shaman has a real tough time drawing cards, and this is a card that can let you do that, and maybe let you draw multiple if it sticks around, which it rarely does. It only has 3 health, but solid card, sees tons of play. We'll definitely give it an A. Very solid totem. Next, we have a neutral totem. Not very many of those. It's called Serpent Ward. It's a 2-mana 0/2, and at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Don't think I've ever seen this in a real competitive deck. I've seen like budget even shaman players play it because like they probably didn't have a better option. But overall, it's just a middling effect. It's a totem, but dealing 2 damage is just typically not impactful enough to really matter. I'll give it a low C, not quite an F, but yeah, not really very good. Then we have Primal Fin Totem. It's a 2-mana shaman totem that has 0/3 stats, and at the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Murloc. Yeah, it was okay in like some Murloc shaman decks. It had synergy with the quest because you summon the 1/1, it activates your quest, and it gives you some bodies, but even shaman hasn't run this in forever. Hasn't really seen any play in Wild in a long time. It's really fallen off. It's just not quite there, but it's not terrible. I kind of want to give it a B, but I'm going to give it a high C. Just because it's like really not seen play in such a long time. Next, we have a Warrior Pirate, Risky Skipper, 1-mana 1/3. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to all minions. This card is broken. It's busted. It's insanely good. In both Standard and Wild, whether it being like Dead Man's Hand Warrior and Wild. In Standard, any Warrior deck you're going to play other than an aggressive Pirate Warrior. Absolutely busted. I would not be surprised to see this card get nerfed at some point. I love playing it, though. It's a real kind of thought-provoking card. We'll give it an S. It ain't patches, but it's right below. It's a super powerful pirate. Speaking of absolutely super powerful pirates, we have Socket Sapper. It's a 4-mana 4/4 pirate for Rogue. Death Rattle. Return a random enemy minion to your opponent's hand. Sometimes you play it when you get it randomly, and the odd time it's good. Yeah, it's an F. I've never seen a rogue run this card. It's just bad. Like, you can give it rush and stuff like that. You can proc your death rattles, but it's a lot to spend for a sap. Just bad. Just bad. Next, we have the card that Blizzard made for me, but they weren't aware of it. It's Salty Dog. It's a 5-mana 7/4 pirate. Neutral. Nothing else. It's a 5-mana 7/4. It doesn't deal 4 damage like a certain unnerfed card used to do. And yeah, never really saw much play, and it was kind of fragile with 4 health. Just died a Piloted Treader back in the day, so I'm gonna give it an F, but at least Hearthstone has a card for me, so I appreciate that. Next, we have Sharkfin Fan. It's a 2-mana 2/2 pirate. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 pirate. It's pretty good in Pirate Warrior and Wild right now, especially with like Ship's Cannon and Car Synergy, all of that, very strong. And then in Token Druid, you even see it pop up once in a while because you have your hero power, which does work. And it's just a good way to cheat out brigands and make your South Sea Captain good because you're doing the whole patches thing there and can be embiggened and all of that. But yeah, overall, not an amazing card. Not bad. Sees a little bit of play in those decks, so we'll give it a B. But not really like a big reason why those decks are any good. It's just kind of there. Next, we have Sky Captain Craig. 7-mana 4/6 charge pirate legendary. And it costs 1 less for each friendly pirate. This card rarely saw any play for the longest time, and then they made Ankar, which made drawing pirates for Warrior much more reliable, which means flooding the board with pirates much more reliable, which makes playing Crag actually realistic and cheating him out. Before then, it wasn't really realistic to play him, because you typically, couldn't rely on having enough pirates on board. You basically went for early game aggression and then just smork your opponent down with Arcanite Reapers, and now it's just kind of an endless wave of pirates you're trying to win with. And Crag does a good job at that. But other than that, other than some memes with gang up and patches and things like that, never really made the cut. So I'm going to give him a very low B, but yeah, he's popped up in Pirate Warrior lately, so he ain't the worst. Next, we have Sky General Crag, one of the more recent pirates. It's a 4-mana 2/3 taunt, and if you have played a quest this game, you get a 4/2 parrot with Rush, and that's pretty good. Like, Quest Hunter ran this, Reno Quest Mage FC has run it. Yeah, it's a quest card. Some quest decks run it, some don't. Really depends on their strategy, and for that reason, I'll give it a B. Definitely not like the most OP pirate, but very solid. Next, we have Sky Raider. It's a 1-mana 1/2 warrior pirate. Battle Cry. Add a random pirate to your hand. He recently just got nerfed, so get an F in comments for him. He can no longer generate himself, but still an insanely good pirate. You play it on 1, you summon Patches in Wild, or in Standard, you just generate more value, and pirates are pretty good. So yeah, very solid, very good. Borderline S, but I feel he's not quite at the level. Maybe he's at that Buccaneer level. Maybe he's at the N'Zoth First Mate level. I gotta give him a low S. He's just so freaking good. Like, it's in every pirate deck. I can't not really. How can you not put him? He's even in the non-aggressive decks. Okay, he's an S. I talked myself into it. Next, we have Skyvateer. It's a 2-mana 1/3 pirate for Rogue. Stealth. Has Stealth and Death Rattle. It draws a card, so really good in the Stealth decks. You would think, because you draw a card. Sets up perfectly into your 3-mana draw 2 play. But all the Stealth decks in Standard don't even really run him anymore. They just go with the aggressive stuff. And in Wild, this guy doesn't really see play. So he has popped up here and there in like Highlander decks and some Stealth decks, but overall, not as much play as you would think. So give him a moderate B. It's a good card, but just not quite at that level. Next, we have Small Time Buccaneer, one of the most broken 1-drops in Hearthstone history, until it got nerfed. It's a 1-mana 1/1 pirate and has +2 attack while you have a weapon equipped. Originally, it was a 1/2, so it was like a flame imp. So you'd play this with like N'Zoth's First Mate and you'd win the game. It was ridiculous. Or you just play it in Rogue and you dagger and it was a 3/2. Really crazy. But at 1 health, pretty much unplayable. Dies to everything. And yeah, it just died to Patches, which had charge back when it got nerfed. So yeah, not very good anymore. Used to be S tier, and now it's basically an F. You're never putting this in your deck. It's just kind of bad. Crazy how 1 health point matters that much. Next, we have South Sea Captain. It's a 3-mana 3/3 epic neutral pirate. Your other pirates have +1/+1. I mean, it's a staple in so many pirate decks. You coin South Sea into South Sea, and if your opponent didn't deal with the early game, you've won. It's insanely good. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Insanely powerful pirate. I'm going to put it with the neutral set of pirates here, though. I don't feel it's quite S tier, but it's very close. You might disagree with me on that one, but I'm going to put it just high A, borderline S. Borderline. Next, we have South Sea Deckhand, 1-mana 2/1 pirate. It has charge if you have a weapon equipped. Again, kind of falls in that classic set of just really good pirates in a lot of pirate decks, but doesn't really carry it in any way. Just a very powerful addition to any pirate deck. You're playing it in Odd Rogue. You're playing it in Pirate Warrior. Hell, you might even play it, even non-weapon decks will just play it to summon Patches. Because, well, there's not that many good 1-mana pirates. Would you rather play a 1-mana 1/2 in Bloodsail Cultist or Corsair, or play a 1-mana 2 on a deck end? You kind of usually rather the aggression, so I'll give him that A. We'll lump him in there. Really powerful pirate, but again, not quite that S tier level. Next, we have a Rogue Pirate, South Sea Squidface. 4-mana 4/4 Death Rattle, give your weapon +2 attack. I saw some playing Kingsbane Rogue, some like Lifesteal weapon. I can't remember the name of it. The one with like the Burgle effects. It's just like a decent weapon buff pirate, but better options have been made since, and doesn't really see any play anymore in Wild, and kind of even Standard kind of fell out of place, but not bad, not great. I'll give it a high C. It definitely saw some play, but it's kind of in that range where it just fell off. Next, we have Swashbuckler, a rogue pirate, 1-mana 1/1 Battle Cry. Add a random card from your opponent's class to your hand. Staple and Odd Rogue, Kingsbane Rogue. Its value, it's a 1/1. It summons pirates. Just insanely good. And even before Patches was made, it was definitely run. Yeah, I'm going to give it that S tier pirate level. It's just, if it's still seeing play in Wild in basically every pirate deck, because why wouldn't you? It's just gonna be there. It's just been a staple, and it's extremely powerful. And it doesn't have to just be in an aggressive deck. It can be value centric. It's flexible. It can do a lot of good stuff. Next, we have Ticket Scalper. It's a 4-mana 5/3 pirate. Overkill. Draw 2 cards. And if you don't know what Overkill is, basically this has 5 attack, right? If a minion has 4 health and you kill it, you overkilled it by 1, which means you draw 2 cards. So you have to kill it by 1 attack more than its health. And yeah, without Rush, this card's not so great. So it saw play in like the hook test decks I mentioned earlier, where you cheated out with that, it would get Rush, and then you would draw 2 cards, which would be powerful. We've seen that in recent days in Standard with the Druid Beast that draws 2 cards when you summon it with your 7 mana spell. Similar type of idea. And yeah, it was good in the hook toss deck, and that is about it. And like trying to get the Rush Lackey stuff going, not really worth it. I'll give it a C, just for the, you know, the plates on that deck, but overall, not quite there. Next, we have the last 4 cards are all totems, so that's all the pirates have been covered. And let's finish off the video with the last 4 totems. We have Totem Golem. It's a 2-mana 3/4 totem for Shaman. Overload 1. Absolute S tier. Ridiculously good. It's a 2-mana 3/4 that mana cheats your thing from below. It's good with your 0-mana buffs, your weapons, like everything. The card is insanely powerful. And yeah, one of the best cards in Even Shaman today. It's just too freaking good. S tier all the way. Next, we have Totem Goliath. It's a new totem for Shaman. It's a 5-mana 4/5 totem. The thickest totem ever. It's still not that good. Death Rattle. It summons all 4 basic totems. Overload 2. Oh, that Overload. Haven't yet seen this card played against me in Standard or Wild. I thought it might be playable in Wild. Doesn't sound like it is. In Standard, Shaman's not a thing. This card is just, it's a Goliath alright, but I haven't seen any usability for it yet. But I think it's too soon to write it off. They're going to make this card work. That's what Blizzard does. They brute force stuff. They'll brute force this to work. And yeah, just not quite there yet. I'll give it a low C. I don't think it's complete garbage. But like, yeah, just doing the whole get totem thing is just not a thing you want to be doing right now. And the Overload 2 is just brutal. Next, we have Trick Totem, the first ever dual class totem. And it's for Shaman and Mage. And it's a 2-mana 0/3. At the end of your turn, cast a random spell that costs 3 or less. Yeah, I haven't seen this played, like, at all in Standard yet, and in Wild, I assume it's in Even Shaman, but I haven't, like, seen any Even Shaman. Like, the aggro options have just been so much better that this card doesn't really put that over the top, and I haven't seen it. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a very low C. Again, I don't think the card's terrible, but again, I haven't seen it see play, so I don't really know how to evaluate it. It's so early, I don't want to write it off as an F, but it's just not there. So yeah, we'll give it a low C, but maybe it'll pop up, and I really hope it doesn't, because that effect is really toxic and random. And the last totem to cover in this series is Vitality Totem. It's a Shaman totem. It's a 2-mana 0/3. At the end of your turn, restore 4 health to your hero. Absolute garbage. I've never seen this see play. Maybe it saw play back in the day in GVG because you wanted to heal. But why? You just don't need this effect, like, ever. You have healing. What are you doing? Ever. Bad. F. You're bad. You're bad. And that is every pirate and totem and basically every class ever we have covered on the YouTube channel. Again, let me know in the comments below what tier list would you guys like to see. I would love to hear it. And if you haven't subbed already, make sure you do to get notified of the next videos. Please like the video. Have a great day. And stay salty, my friends.